Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to this morning's Wuxing Long Pai Taijiquan class. My name is Jeff Cote, and I am the Occidental Taoist. So we'll be, hold on. I didn't realize a phone was left in this room. It's my son's phone. I do not want to get called while we're doing it. I'm going to go bring it to him. I'll be right back. My apologies. All right, please don't get loud. All right. As I said, good morning. Welcome to Wuxing Long Pai Taijiquan class. Looks like there's a few of you here already. Excellent. We'll just get started. I came back inside. I had a lot of that it's saying it has a charge, it doesn't, or the transmitter's just not working. So I'm going to try another. I'm going to get another headset, and we'll try it again in the future to see if that works. If not, then we'll just keep doing what we're doing in here, or I'll find a location that I can connect to and use regularly, and still have some good connection and good audio. Okay. Anyways, so this morning we'll just get started with our usual thing. One of the things I've been doing a lot personally in my practice lately is to work with the Taijiquan aspect, which is the mind intent into the movement, and how that triggers the movement of the qi. And so I've been doing really slow movements over and over and over again, just playing with them, and coordinating with my breath differently, playing around with inhaling on one part, exhaling on another, and then switching it up, and seeing what happens, just observing what happens to the flow and feeling of the whole of the body. Now, it's kind of subtle, but it is really valuable to kind of take you a little bit deeper into Tai Chi. The other thing I've been doing that kind of triggers all of that is just that imagining that I'm moving through water, moving through a medium, so I can feel the changes as I move. Okay. So nice and relaxed, central equilibrium, tongue lightly touching the roof of the mouth. Release the spine, relax it down, feel where your weight is in the triangles of your feet. Check and make sure you're not rolling outward or collapsing inward from the hips down through the feet. Both, like you start, and they are different regions, but they are connected. So there's this region here versus this region here, and what's going on in and out rotationally, and from how that's connected to the knee, or from the knee down to the ankle, and from the ankle through the heel and the foot. You notice that spreading out, much like we do with our hands. Activate it. Then shift your weight forward enough that you engage just a little bit. So you're moving towards the bubbling well point, but make sure you're not doing it by leaning. You're doing it by opening up from the center and moving from your core, from right here. Enough that it just activates that pressure on the ground. So if you imagine the way like dogs and wolves' feet are, they're kind of like up like this, right? The ball of their foot and the toes are on the ground, and what is the last articulation is their ankle is sort of their heel, where the heel is sort of all together. So do that for a moment. Come up onto the balls of the foot and sink back down and get that active spot between yin and yang, between where you're not just kind of flat-footed and seated, but you're active. You're still very rooted, but at a moment you could come up really easily or shift and utilize that. Very important component. Take a few deep breaths and just release tension and excess energy. And come from the center and begin. Include that articulation here just don't let it lift your heels, but use the energy of it like it's gently pressing, and you're going to use that all the way up, activating from that bubbling well right up to the Hui Yin. And sinking back down again. And then bounce. So a little Qigong I've been doing with this also, which I want to share with you, is aside from the just bouncing, as I'm bouncing and expanding, I've still got that sense of the expanding sphere, everything's working together. But now I'm paying attention to these right and left channels. And when I'm coming up, I'm using my hands to help guide that sort of spiral up, spiral down, so that I'm training it. So as you see, I'm coming in, hands turn in, down, and out. And I'm really working at learning how to root powerfully through those right and left channels with this. And then counter swing. And you can use your hands in the same way as I'm coming down. So I'm drawing in and coming down. I can intend the hands to help guide those right and left channels into the twist, right? And back, twist. Drawing that twist up. back column swing. And counter column swing. And relax. Good, central equilibrium. We're going to adopt some postures. We're going to be kind of move and then hold and create an intention and then release that and then move to the next one. So we're going to come up, inhale up. And we're going to rotate the right and left channels outward. Remember, we're not turning from the wrist. We're turning from the bottom up through the shoulder, then the elbow, right? So it comes up. From the hip through the back. You feel those yang channels activate. Become receptive in the palms, extensive with the fingers. Do the dragon palm. We want to outreach to receive. As though we're plucking the chi from the air, plucking the fruit. White ape plucks the fruit. The whole time, I'm outreaching and gathering, trying to extend so that things can open. I'm making movements, but they're so small you can barely see them until eventually they become so small that you can't see them. At the same time, I'm also always working at this twist of this right and left channel, this twist outward through here to really elongate the tendons as I sage plex the peach. That's what I call this one. And you'll feel your trapezius and all the tensions that you have there. Just try to release them into the action of extension and receive and ground. And then when you receive, let your awareness go from the Lao Gong right through the right channel all the way to the ground and all the yang channels around it. So outreaches. Then in and down. Up again. Same thing, rotating out. Only this time open up. Same thing. White plucks the peach, or sage plucks the peach. Here you're going to see a rotating inward as you relax. So the right and left channels rotate out to stretch, and rotate in to release. Very small movements. And then in and down. And out. And now in. So it's going to be out and we exhale and outreach. Inhale and draw in. Like you're reaching out with a twist. And then drawing it in. Smaller and smaller movements until it's a movement of the mind and the chi. So we learned that to learn the sequence. Now we're going to flow in, down, down. I'm all the time working with these right and left channels and their extensions and twists. time. Oh, sorry, I skipped a step back in and down. I flowed ahead of myself. And close. It's a great little Qigong sequence, and it really gets you, focused on that right and left side, and utilizing them as a whole and their spiral force, as well as getting down to the details. Like if you really stay with the dragon's claw the whole time, you can really activate the Qi. And then if you start connecting it through the right and left sides, with the yin and yang meridians of the leg, really starts to connect up a lot of things for you. Okay. And all that twisting, extension, and pulling, all of that sort of extension and drawing in creates this a smooth flow of activity outward that extends and elongates, and then a gentle draw inward that allows the natural plasticity to release and gather energy and power. So we're working with that, just like we were doing before, expand and return. It all comes from there. That's first, and then everything else is built on top of it. All right, let's do hands, wrists, and fingers, loosening the joints now. The other way. Elbows. The other way. Shoulders down. And opening and closing the chest, and patting the shoulders. Trunk twists from the center. Patting up to the rib cage, shoulders, collarbone, thymus and thyroid, middle dantian, just lightly touching with my fingertips that Shinjong point, and the solar plexus. Dantian again. Patting the daimai and the hips. Waist rotations, circling the daimai. The other way. And widen the feet. Open the hip, pull it open. Gentle pressure down, draw that ball and socket joint open, and move through. And the other side, draw it open. And the other way. And turn in and rotate. Keep that open, but still get that rotation. Turn in, rotate. Turn in, rotate. And the other way, turn out, rotate. Really paying attention from the dantian and the daimai, this whole bowl of the pelvis and the dantian in the center of it, and its relationship into those ball and socket joints, really paying attention to the sort of geometry of the structures and keeping them aligned as you work. And you can feel that connection to the right and left channels, the central channel, as you work. And relax. Shake it out. Patting the legs. And friction rubbing the knee. Same thing on the other side. Friction rubbing the knee. Shifting to one leg, soft and buoyant ankle and hip. The other way. Foot and ankle. Other way. Brushing the brows. Other way. Behind. The other way. Bring the leg up and hold it out. Out to the side. And back. Hopefully I won't kick the screen. Cross the legs, lady horse stance. And rotate the spine. All the way up to the head. Up. Knee to the chest. Knee down, heel back. Knee back, stretching the quadricep. Hip forward. Leg back out. And around. Rotate it. Sit into the stance. Don't push up, but elongate the spine. Tailbone down. Shake it out. Other side. Ankle and hip. Other way. Foot and ankle. Other way. Brush in the grass. Other way. Remember, we're going for that sense of moving through water. Right? So sometimes you'll feel like working with that energy and intensity as you imagine pushing it increases the intensity. It encounters your tension and throws your balance off. So you play around with it. Other way. Out to the side. And behind. Cross. Spine long and turn everything. From tailbone to the top of the head. Knee to the chest. Knee down, heel back. Out and around. And back out. Shake it out. Straighten the spine, tailbone down, top of the head up. Elongate everything. Lift the sacrum, fold at the waist. You can press the legs back to elongate the hamstrings and you reach out and down. Focusing on elongating and letting go. Elongate the spine. Extend, let gravity draw you downward. While you work with activating the toes to the heels, extending them away from each other from the heels to the sacrum.
Tailbone to the top of the head. Release. Pay particular attention to the yin channels versus yang channels in the legs, and the energy coming from the dantian and the ming men down into there. Turn to one side. Working. You're going to work. This one's the opposite leg is supportive, and you have to pay attention to it and help it work with you for support. But now we're intensifying the energy into one side. But keep the spine engaged, the tailbone, and how that is connected. Both the Ming Men and the Hui Yin and the Dantian energy are all connected to the bubbling well point of both legs, but how the energy intensifies on this side with the stretch. And you release using the continuity of the rest of the body. And then we come down, sweep through to the other side. Nothing is still. Everything is always in motion, following the release of tension. And two dragons circle the pond. Sweep. Extending. The metaphor here, the two dragons, is the right and left channels. You're connecting from the foot all the way through the arm. Now the energy of each side is working on each movement as it circles the pond. And back to the center. Squat stance. Spine long. And then one side. And then the other. And I'm going to press the elbow that way. I'm using this arm to push that elbow out as I lean in this side. I do the same thing over here. Using the support leg for energy to open up the hip of the opposite side. Back and forth. From there, you'll find you can drop deeper into the center. And we bring the hands down. And then we'll stretch. Onto the balls of the feet. You can go back and forth here too, letting gravity stretch through that area. Then, I like to extend the tailbone down and suspend, if you can. And like a butterfly, as I inhale and draw up, I'm bringing those hips in. And then as I exhale and release, I go back down. Not too hard, not very strong. Don't release all of a sudden. But we're going to just exercise those connections a little bit. Just that really helps to open up the hips. Roll the spine up. Now, obviously, there's a graduated process that I try to show you. And I'm going all the way to the advanced levels where you're supporting yourself, working with extending chi through the arms, learning to carry weight with your chi. But you don't have to start there, and you shouldn't. You know, when you're down here, and even if you can't, like this is as low as you can get, so you can't do the squat stance. You're only here, right? So be there. Just do this. Just not forceful, just breathing. Inhale, exhale, right? Then when we come to this, you can come up on the toes. That makes it a little bit easier. Go back and forth. Right? Learning to just relax down in until eventually you're getting lower and lower in there.
Okay. Don't force. You're just trying to use support, learning to always find support, and then gentle motion to open up that which is tight. All right, shake it out. And dragon spine will come up. Getting that nice serpentine movement on either side, all the way through the arms. Getting that dragon spine. Okay. And then we come under. Still doing dragon spine. Just coordinating with the movement. And the other way, dragon spine. And then the palms stay up. We go over and under. And check it out. These are all calisthenics of this system. You know, this is Qigong. This is just conditioning the body to be better at Tai Chi. Better at the movements, more connected. It's not just about the movements that we're doing, but how we're generating them. They teach us something about the internal actions required for the form, for the Tai Chi set that we do, and the rest of what Tai Chi is. Okay. All right. What did we work on? Oh yeah, breaking down some repetitions of that dragon stretches his wings. I know it seems like, okay, we're going back over this same stuff. This is what I go through it one time, breaking it down, and I go a little deeper. We do more repetitions until that section becomes really well ingrained. I know it means we've put down the rest of it for now, but that's okay. You've done that so many times up to this point, all the stuff before it. And then after it's going to be a little bit fuzzier, but you'll have some memory. It's just we're slowly building a path, right? And that just takes repetition. So, and then investigating each part, trimming away that which is not helpful to the path, right? Which is tensions that we hold, ways of movement that are not part of what we're doing. Okay. All right, let's do that back and forth a couple times, just a few times with the first movement, because we did that last week, even though I guess hardly anybody could hear me. So it's probably of value just to kind of go through it again. On Thursday, I meant. So what we're going to do, we'll start from the very beginning position. That sort of hands are up here, either side of the eyebrow. It looks like my hands are higher. They're not. Don't put your hands up over your head. The camera is below me, so it looks like my hands are up high, when in fact, if I draw them straight back, they're sort of right at the eyebrow level. Okay? So then the first thing is syncing the right and left channels and letting that draw the arms down. Now the arms come down naturally like this. You just relax them. That's what they're going to do. Right? So let's sync there. And when the hands get to about chest level, I'm going to begin to shift and turn. Then I'm going to let it sink further right down the center line. When I get here, I rotate on the ball of the foot and extend the heel. Turn and look back. Then we come back. expand, back in and down, and turn. And look. Then we sink under. We're going to take the hip and drop it down, really make it come down. This is going to stretch the iliopsoas. The hands come down. It's like I'm pressing down with the pelvis, with the tailbone, and the heels of my hands, and then forward. As I shift and open. Come around, dragon lashes his tail. Around, in and down. Notice I set the foot right away. And then in the form, I would come up and over. And that's the sequence of what I want to review today. Okay, so let's do some repetition of that first one. Turning in and turning. Turning and sinking. Same thing here. When I'm here and I'm going to turn, I want to tailbone down, press with the heels, and then release the foot. Up and out. In and down. Turn and turn. Under. Shift the weight forward and turn open. Dragon lashes his tail and down. Apparently I'm not going to do that first one by itself because I keep moving on. I feel like that's a pretty good sequence to just work over and over. Okay. Think of it as like expand and sink. Always with the spirals. Let's do that again. Shift and turn. Down. Turn, look back. Under. Right. Push. Under, and I turn this way. As soon as I get that good stretch right in here, and I release the hip. In. Out. And in. Down. Stretch. Eventually, you won't emphasize that. I'm having you do that to work this open, right? Around and down, over the top. Next, we've got white ape presents the fruit. We've got that receive into this leg, and the right leg is going to push and rotate. And it's this whole right side, the whole right channel. And sink towards the center. Turn the front foot. Elbows first, just like. So it's coming from under, up. Energy comes from the hips, elbows, arms. Release. Everything's now inward and down. So ratcheting in. Open, turn, and twist. This time, as Weight 8 presents the fruit with a twist, because the body is unwinding this way as we go. Instead of having, like here, we did Weight 8 presents the fruit on this side. We had turned, and we're already, there's not much twist. Here, right, we've come down like this, around and under, and we've actually literally turned back to the center. So we've got all of this twisting energy to work with from this leg. So it's all about receiving in a twist here and expanding in a twist there, and getting the two to work together to make the center line express outward. All right, let's do the Weight 8 presents the fruit again. From here, from this side first, so we can feel the difference. We turn in. As we turn in, the hand turns and presses out. And draws back. Turn the foot. Now I'm already turned, so it's a, sort of a linear expression. We come back, turn in, and everything rotates inward and then outward. Turn in. Right? That's the energy. But instead of letting it just widen out, when it reaches a certain threshold of just past our shoulders, from the front so you can see it, I roll the shoulders. I let that twist carry the shoulders out. Okay. So I'm facing you so you can see all the dynamic changes. I'm going to lead you through a sequence facing the other way. Okay. So we're here, twist and press out, and then let it roll in and back. Then we cross the hands. Got palm right here. Step up, sink. Okay, weight clean kicks with one leg. Let's go through that. I feel like Weight 8 presents the fruit is a little bit of a challenge for people sometimes. So I kind of want to review that one again. We're kind of running out of time anyways. Let's do this little sequence up to that kick 2 more times and we'll call it a wrap. Okay, so we've just finished Power of the Immortal. Got that turn in and press. Notice the turn in is, I'm unweighting the leg. There's very little energy there. It's very insubstantial, very substantial over here, right? But then when I press, this leg becomes really substantial and this one becomes very receptive. Then I receive into the powerful leg and turn. That Weight 8 presents the fruit. Back. Switch the feet and kick. Let's do that facing this way. So I know some of you guys have trouble with the reverse image. So, or it might just be looking at my face. I'm not sure which. So we press and receive. Receive left, press with the right. Sink. I'm not sure where I was. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the webcam and totally distracted. It happens to the best of us. I just realized that I might be able to change settings on the webcam. I just discovered that by setting my son's webcam earlier. It popped into my head while I was doing this. This happens sometimes. I apologize. Let's do it again. From Weight 8 presents the fruit. Or from the beginning of Weight 8 presents the fruit. Down. All right. Let's close. If I could change the reversal of the image on the camera and make it so right looks like right, left looks like left, it'd be a lot easier for everybody. Then I could face you and you could see my hands too. I'm gonna play around with it. Let's see what I can come up with. So thank you guys for joining me this morning. I hope that was a good warm up and deepening into the practice. I went a little deeper in some ways than I do oftentimes in the class verbally, just simply because I want to give people room to explore. Now, remember, one of the things people forget about this is that we all have a different way of experiencing. And when somebody practices something like this for a long time, like I have and like my teachers have, they take their way of experiencing and they explore with it. And from that, they make discoveries. And then they share those discoveries with their students. And that's a good thing. It's like a place for you to look and things you can look at. But you have to find it within your experience. And sometimes when it gets explained to you, as I'm doing, the kind of experience I'm having, you're trying to have the exact same experience that I'm having. And I don't know that that's possible. I'm pointing you in a direction, and what you have to learn how to do is to take my experience as a nice wide path that you're walking down, but you're going to notice different things as you walk along that path. Honor that. Don't be so busy looking at the path that I'm creating that you're missing the terrain of your experience. Very, very important. Honor the relationship of your body's experience with this material and the information you are getting for it and from it. Okay. When you practice, you must take the compost of your teacher's experience and all their teachers. This is where the fertile ground on which the seed of a student is planted. So take that and grow, right? Do it your way. I mean, this is the hard part because it's like it has you know there's traditional stuff that's there for a reason and it has value, and part of your job is to discover what that value is for you. I'm sharing what the value is for me and the practice. Try to see what I'm doing because after practicing this for as long as I have, I've learned to move in a way that is the most effective and efficient from my level of awareness and practice. So there's something to be learned from that. But then you have to discover how you move similarly or can move similarly, because that's all you can do. And then how the mind interacts with that, how that's created from the mind intent and then flows into action, and how that flow, that chi, shapes and moves the body, and then we can learn to move with it and use it to help resolve conflicts internally, energetically, and structurally and mechanically, or we can fight with it. And I just don't recommend that latter one. All right. Thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's going to be gorgeous out here. I mean, they're talking like 80 degrees or something in the next 2 or 3 days. So enjoy yourself, hydrate. A lot of times people don't realize that this Tai Chi, even though it's done slow, can be quite a bit of work, and your muscles need to be flushed with some fresh water. So do that. All right. Thank you guys for joining me, and have a wonderful day and many blessings of radiant health and a peaceful, happy life.